So in introductory video we have seen the basic instrumentation and how that instrument is going to work for the low energy ion scattering. Okay, so this is the like another technique which is used for the surface characterization. So the technique is low energy ion scattering. Sometimes it is also referred as a ion scattering or low ion scattering techniques. Okay, so in like that demonstration video we have seen how that instrument is working. Okay, so what is the principle for the determination of ions is generally we are principle is same as that of the Rutherford backscattering. So here again we are going to determine the scattered radiations, but the difference is that in Rutherford scattering we are going to apply the higher voltage of higher voltage for the incident radiations. So in Rutherford scattering we are applying high voltage of around zero point 0.5 to 2.5 mega electron volts. Okay, 2 point or say around 2.5 mega electron volts. Okay, but in case of our this low energy ion scattering we are going to apply some low voltage. Okay, in the kilovolt range around 10 kilovolt. This much voltage we are kilo electrons volt. Okay, this much voltage we are going to apply for the source of our primary radiations. Okay, so the principle will remains as it is as that for the Rutherford backscattering, but the only difference is that we are going to apply the voltage of low energies. So principle is again same, like once we have applied the low energy ion beam on the target material at some particular angle. So here in formula you can see that, okay, the angle is theta. Okay, so angle is theta. So at that particular angle we are going to apply the radiation and we are going to analyze the backscattered radiations at that particular large angle. Okay, that scattering angle. So in general this like that ratio of how the energy has been changed for the incident radiations and the scattered radiation, that is determined, and based upon that ratio, okay, based upon that ratio we can like based upon this ratio we have knowledge of that theta. Okay, scattering angle. So m1, that is the again same. Okay, m1 is the mass of incident radiations or incident particles, and m2 that we need to find out like mass of that uh, our target material, that we can determine by using this formula. Okay, so the principle will remain same, just there is a some changes in the formula. Okay, the main advantage of this low ion scattering technique is that we can determine the, okay, we can determine the surface composition exactly. Okay, so in previous that Rutherford backscattering technique, since we are going to use the large amount of radiation, then there might be some interaction below the surface layers. Okay, so suppose here in example, so this we are having the, okay, zinc aluminate. Okay, this one type of alloy is used here. So here the spectra of the dark spectra is shown for the ZnAl2OSO4. Okay, so for that we are going to get only the peak for oxygen here and aluminum. So for that we are not going to get the peak for zinc. Okay, so it is expected that zinc peak should be obtained by using some suppose another technique, but by if we use the low energy ion scattering technique, then zinc ions are not observed in the spectra. The reason is that this whole structure is formed likewise. Okay, so structure of that is somewhat this, so that outer layers means surface is only composed of our aluminum and oxygen. Okay, so the aluminum and oxygen is present on the surface and zinc is present in the, okay, that empty voids. Okay, in between interstitial side it is present inside the crystal structure and not on the surface. So by using this low energy ion scattering, we can determine the exact composition of surface, okay, quite easily. So this is the advantage of this low energy ion scattering technique over Rutherford backscattering. So we can get only the knowledge of surface, okay. So in that our demonstration video, we have seen this, okay, we have seen this basic instrumentation, okay, we have seen this basic instrumentation here. Like ion gun is used, beam splitter is used, okay. So detectors are used. Two types of detectors are there, like electrostatic analyzer and time of flight detector, okay. Then sample holder is there, okay. So in video it's quite good explain how that all these things are working, okay, in the actual instrument, okay. So if you not seen that video, go and see that video first, okay. So it will be better to understand this low energy ion scattering technique, okay. So the instrumentation that this instrumentation is like three-dimensional. So in exam you need not to like draw this three-dimensional, you can just draw this, okay, simple. You can draw this simple instrumentation. Here the same thing is there, but instead of like showing the all instrument, we have represented them by using the some block diagrams, okay. So same types of uh, components are there in the this diagram, okay. So you need to show only this in exam, okay. Real life instrument is, okay. So this is the real life instrument for the low energy ion scattering technique. So that components are incorporated likewise, okay. Okay, so we will see the instrument one by one, okay. So first component is our ion source, okay. So the first component is our ion source, okay. So generally this ion source is nothing but our electronic gun, okay, electron gun. So it consisting of the certain inert gases like helium, neon, sodium, argon, okay, lithium, not sodium, but some inert gases along with some alkali in positive state, okay, cationic form. They are generally used for the source of primary ions, okay, electron source. So the energy for this is around kept around for the 10 kilo electron volts, okay. So the energy for these ions is kept around 10 electron volts. So the output current that generated by using this much energy is around 10 to 30 nano ampere, okay. So this much current is generated by using these ions. So these ions will produce the good reproducible yield of around 1 to 2 millimeter range, okay. So the spot size of that output ions is around 1 to 2 millimeter. So overall we are going to get the reproducible ions, okay, reproducible primary ions that we are going to incident on the target material, okay. So typically helium is used for the generation of, okay, for the analysis helium is used, okay. So the lower ion will uh, from that inert gases as well as from alkali metals like sodium and lithium can also be used, okay. So source for the minerals is different, okay. So source for the minerals is different, likewise that sodium or lithium or potassium some, okay. So here we need to remember just this, all which type of gases are used and how much voltage is used and how much current is going to generate after we are going to incident that ions on this sample, okay. So that things you should remember. So this is our ion source. Next is your, okay, next is your sample holder, okay. So in video it is quite animated, okay. So that in that video you can see that how that requirement of sample holders are there, okay. So sample holder must be like, it should be rotated along all the four axes, means along XYZ direction. Okay, so in video it is quite nicely shown. Okay, so you just go and see that video, okay, if you not seen. So that sample holder should move from along y direction as well as x direction. Also it can be able to like adjust the angle of incident. Okay, so for sample holding, the special requirement is that it should be like two types of there must be two types of axis of rotation, one in the sample surface defining the incident light. Okay, so one should be able to change the direction of this incident beam, and one which is being perpendicular for the adjustment of the exit angles. Okay, so once this ion is going to incident, so we can rotate this. Okay, rotate this sample chamber in clockwise or anti-clockwise directions, so that all the surface get exposed to the incident radiation. Okay, and once we have achieved that, so we can again like move this sample holder in the another direction so as to expose this ion to particular or desired results. Okay, so that requirements are fulfilled by using this sample holder. Okay, so the sample holder must be like operated in such a way that maximum ions are get incident on the sample. Okay, because the scattered radiations, okay, their yield must be good for the showing the good results. Okay, so once that primary beam is incident on the this our solid. Okay, so what are the various phenomenon that going to occur? Okay, so there might be like backscattering of radiations. Okay, there might be backscattering of radiations or some scattering of radiations at particular angles. Okay, so this phenomenon might be occur, or there might be some like electrons get ejected for the from the surface. Okay, surface atom electrons might be ejected, or some positive ions of the particular analyte might be formed. Okay, that also can be ejected. However, that primary beam can also accumulate the site in the this crystal structure of our sample. Okay, so the various phenomenon can occur. So out of this all phenomenon, we are mainly concerning with the that scattering of radiations. Okay, so once that scattered radiations are emitted, that radiations are passed into the, okay, analyzer. Okay, so this is a one kind of analyzer, magnetic or, okay, electrostatic analyzer. So in this electrostatic analyzer, there are the sectors, means uh, specific regions are there. Okay, in electroanalytical or electrostatic analyzer, there are various sectors. Sectors means they are divided into certain voltage difference gap. Okay, so once we are going to increase the positive voltage along this, okay, this sector, and negative voltage is increase along this sector. So due to this, what happen, we are going to get the some constant increase in the voltage. So by using this, we can increase the velocity of this incident ion. Okay, this incident ions, and the voltages are adjusted such that only the desired ions are going to reach to the detectors. Okay, only the desired ion going to reach at the detector. Okay, and all the other ions which are not required, means suppose if positive ions are there, then they get neutralized by colliding with negative ions or negative sector. And if or negative ions are generated in the like electrons or some other impurities, then they get collided with the positive ion and they get eliminated from the this, okay, okay. So once that positive or unwanted ions get eliminated through this analyzer, it get reached to the detector. Okay, it get reached to the detector, So the generally the spherical type of electrostatic sector analyzer are used. They are having the sector angle of around 90 degree. Okay, the scattering angle of that particular solids can be ranging from 0 to 160 degree. Okay, so variation of this scattering angle will be useful for the increasing the accuracy as well as for better resolution of the spectra. Okay, so this will gives you the better idea of the structural analysis of our solid samples. Okay, so for the detection of charged particle, the electron channel multipliers are used. Okay, okay, so once that ions are passed through the analyzer, they get transferred to the detectors. Okay, so detectors are generally two types. One is our cylindrical mirror analyzer. Okay, or which is also called as channel electron multiplier. Okay, the first one, and the another one is the time of flight analyzer. Okay, so time of flight analyzer that we have already seen in the secondary ion mass spectrometry. Okay, so the that time which will required for the ions to pass through that uh, channel is recorded. Okay, and based upon that we are going to calculate the mass of that unknown particle. Okay, and in case of that cylindrical mirror analyzer, there is a like increasing voltages are applied. Okay, here you can see the diodes here. Okay, so it is working as the same as that of the photo multiplier tube. Okay, PMT type of detector. So once one ion is going to incident on the here, so multiple ions are going to generate it like 2 3 4 as such. Okay, so they will travel and quite large number of ions get generated and they get uh, accumulated at the collector. So we are going to get the maximum yield of the ions. Okay, at the end. So the high intensity and the relatively good mass resolution at around 137 degrees. Okay, 137 degree angle gives the better result. Okay, gives the better result for this cylindrically mirror analyzers. Okay, so the micro channel analyzers are also same. Directly these ions are going to pass. Okay, so here there is a quite low sensitivity as compared to this. Okay, so this is generally preferred for the higher sensitivity instruments. Okay, so this is the analyzers. Okay, okay, so the last point is the application of these techniques. Okay, application of this technique. So this technique is generally used. So the instrumentation and the detector part is over. So we'll start with the application of the low energy ion scattering technique. Okay, so the low energy ion scattering technique is generally used in the okay. So the basic and main advantage of this low energy ion scattering technique is the its accuracy to determine the surface composition. Okay, so it will form the wide range of application in the alloys, catalyst. Okay, alloys and catalyst industries. So generally like alloys composition is there are certainly two or three metals which are generally form specific alloys at particular composition. Okay, and that composition should be constant throughout the crystal structure, but during the manufacturing of that alloys there might be some surface segregation of one component and the other component might be get less segregated at the surface. So there is a discontinuity in the composition of the one particular component. Okay, so that discontinuity in the composition is determined by using this okay low energy ion scattering technique. So this technique will discriminate between the variation in the composition of first layer and the second layer. Okay, so it will be generally useful for the alloy system and for obtaining the fundamental and understanding of the surface segregation. Okay, so alloys, they can be used also for the diffusion and differential sputtering effects. Okay, so second application is the catalyst. So again we know that the catalyst application is mainly based upon their surface properties. Okay, so sometimes that or the catalyst surface is coated with some highly insulating substances like alumina, titanium dioxide or silica. Okay, so that substances are like non-conducting substances. Okay, so the active catalyst is molybdenum, tungsten or vanadium. Okay, these are the conducting substances, but on these substances for protection purpose we are going to apply some highly insulating metal surface or metal oxides. Okay, so once that applied, then there might be like determination of that exact composition of catalyst is become difficult because the charging effect. So once we apply the some electron spectroscopic technique, that will generate the charging effect, so heating of sample will takes place. So in order to avoid that, we are generally use this low energy ion scattering techniques. So once that primary ions are like bombarded on the sample, the this technique will use you the idea about the outermost atomic layer. Okay, so which is the main requirement of our analysis. So what type of surfaces are there for the catalyst, that we can determine the by using this low ion scattering technique. So the next application is the in the quantitative analysis. So quantitative analysis is generally obtained by using the curve or the graph, which is gives the idea of the ion yield for the applied voltage. Okay, ion yield of the that particular component at particular voltage. So based upon this ion or the yield of that particular ion, we are going to determine the quantitative yield of the that particular sample. And the last application is the qualitative analysis. So the qualitative analysis is generally obtained by using the backscattered ion. Okay, and this concentration of certain element in the source is determined by using the curve. Okay,